Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of the Cage Walk Podcast with Kayla, presented by OddSmoker MMA. Right now, I have got Fatima, the Archangel Kline, here with me, UFC fighter who has an upcoming fight July 18th in Oklahoma City. It is such a pleasure to have you on here today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. The fight's getting closer day by day, and I'm ready to put out there everything that I've been working for, I've been training for, and I'm ready to see the proof.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I did get to see you fight in Nashville. I was doing media with the UFC then, so I got to meet you, interview you after your win at that event. So super excited to see you fight again. And again, it's just awesome to actually have you on the podcast. So before we get into camp and what you've been working on training, I'd love a backstory of what got you into MMA, what it was like transitioning from those regional promotions into the UFC, as you are 3-1 in the UFC, 9-1 overall, which is outstanding. That's amazing.
Yeah, I got into jujitsu first. So my mom put me in jujitsu at 10 years old for self-defense. I was a soccer player previously. I grew up in a very athletic household. My dad boxed when he was a kid. My mom she's into CrossFit, so she's very much strong-willed and strong-bodied. And I just came from that type of household. And when I was put into jujitsu, it was like something kind of clicked that never clicked for me before. And with all the sports I did previously, especially because I love soccer so much, I knew jujitsu was kind of took my attention more than any other sport has. And I did it for about 5 years. When I turned 15, then I started doing more boxing, kickboxing, and wrestling, and I started working on my striking more. And then by 18, I believe I had my amateur debut. By 20, I had my pro debut. And then I feel like my journey is just kind of skyrocketed from there. I was signed to Invicta, and then I was signed to CFFC, and I was able to gain two titles from CFFC. And yeah, UFC stole me, and I could never go back and picture my life going any differently. I think it's unraveled in exactly the way it should. Um, yeah, and I just, I'm grateful for every step of the way. I'm grateful for where I am right now, and where God has brought me.
Bouncing back real quick to soccer, I was also a soccer player. I played for 16 years competitively. Was like the love
Oh,
of
okay,
my
okay,
life.
yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
ask you about what you think about that red card being overturned here in the World Cup for the first time, literally in history.
Oh man, I don't know. I feel like if anything was gonna be overturned, or if there was a word spoken, it would be here in America. So I guess it's a good thing that it's happening here. But I don't know too much about what's going on. I kinda heard a little bit about it, but yeah, training's been taking over my mind, so I can't watch too many sports right now. I'm like, well, I'm locked in on myself so much. When I'm done training, I'm just like, whoa, you
I
know.
understand. I just had to ask because I thought I've read and seen before you played soccer. So I was like, I wonder what she thinks about that. Because I was like, I haven't been following it as much as I had in the past, just because I've moved my full attention to MMA on a different side of things like you.
Mhm.
Instead of fighting, I just do my content. But I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah. I find it really hard when you're so in tune with at first it was soccer to me. I was all about soccer. And then when I did jujitsu, it's all about jujitsu. And now it's MMA and my fight. And it's just like so zoned in on that. It's so hard to focus on anything else. It's so
Oh
hard to
yeah.
even like watch soccer because I'm like, man, they can't even punch each other, It's like it's not fair.
It's not the same. Um, Transitioning back to what we were talking about. Sorry for the little rabbit hole there. Um, but during your time from when you started at 10 years old to now, has there ever been times or a moment where you wanted to give up MMA? And if so, how did you overcome that?
Yeah, definitely. I think when I was right before I had my amateur MMA debut, I took like maybe 8 months off of training. I was going through like a really hard time, like just dealing with my own struggles as like a teenager, not knowing where life was taking me, not knowing where I wanted to go. Just kind of surrounded by like bad company, and bad company really corrupts good character. And so that definitely happened to me. And I felt like my focus was just nowhere to be found. And then I found my way back to home, and I found my way back into what I really loved, and my family who's been there for me through and through. And then I winded up, yeah, having my amateur MMA fight, and I did great. And that, I think that was only thanks to Jesus Christ, because right before that, I just didn't know if I wanted to. I didn't know if this was what I was supposed to do. I was sick, and I feel like so many things were kind of against me leading up to that. And yeah, it turned out that that was my calling, and that's exactly where I was supposed to be when I was.
Hey, look, Jesus always and God, they always have a path, no matter what, even like as a teenager, I can relate to that. You said, bad company is just miserable. I've been through it, um, but hey, glad you pulled yourself out of that. And, one of the best female fighters out there right now, and I love it. Um, I'm super excited to see you fight, and I know a little bit about, that's one of my favorite questions to ask fighters because no one really, I feel like, doesn't talk about when they're going to give up, like they want to give up, but here they are, they push through, and, you know, never know what someone goes through. Um, but
Absolutely.
your fight coming up in just over a week, talking about camp, what have you really been focused in on this time around? Your first loss in the UFC in your pro career ever was your UFC debut, but you're on that 3-win streak right now. How do you plan on keeping it going?
Yeah, I feel like this time around, I have a whole new team behind me. That's really new. I've never really switched teams this drastically in my career before, but I have a whole new set of coaches that I'm well, not a whole new. I have like a couple guys that I'm still we're rock solid together, but I am working with a new coach. Ozzy and Augie and Aaron Blanchfield will be at my corner. And I feel like this time around, this training camp has been one of the most probably not even calm, but like just like really confident, and we're all on the same page. I feel like I really struggled with my cornerman previously to, so many different ideas, and you're working with different people. And now I feel like we're really kind of settled in. We kind of hit the nail on the head. And I'm just really excited to kind of put out with all my coaches have been putting into me. It's been, I don't know, maybe 12 weeks that I've been in camp, and even with the opponent change, I'm preparing to be the best version of me. So it doesn't matter who I fight. I am looking to look better than I ever have, feel better than I ever have, and perform better than I ever have on July 18th.
Um, you just answered my next question. I asked, what can fans expect from you? It's gonna be your best performance yet. Both you and Tabitha Ricci have fought some big names who are ranked up in the UFC. With this fight, though, if you take this win over Tabitha Ricci, do you think there'll be any talk, whether it be a title talk or a title eliminator talk, for your next fight here, maybe the end of 2026 or the beginning of 27?
Yeah, I would love to finish Tabitha in a spectacular way, and come home with a bonus, and have my name involved in a title eliminator spot. I don't think quite yet I would deserve a title shot after Tabitha. There's definitely people in front of me that deserve it more than I do, but whether they deserve it or not, I'm on my way there, and so it's only a
Yeah,
matter of time. And Tab that has faced, obviously Verna, who fought for the title. Tabitha's always kind of been just in the mix of a shot, or at least close to a shot. And yeah, I feel like the rankings really filter out the best in the world, and I don't plan on being filtered out. I plan on proving myself to be among the best.
absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to that time. I know, your last 3 fights, I mean, just been phenomenal, and like I said, I know Tabitha is a great opponent. She's like you have fought names. I know her name's in the mix and whatnot, and would love to see your name out there too. Seeing how this fight goes. Um, jumping back to your corner, you have Aaron in your corner this time around, who's
Yes.
getting ready to fight at UFC 330 against the only opponent that you have lost against.
Yes.
Jasmine, I do not want to butcher her last name, but talk to me about that fight. What you think of that matchup? Is this kind of like, I mean, obviously you've been training with her, but it is more of like a revenge fight for you just because, you know, you unfortunately did get that loss and now you're like, Aaron, go whoop her butt. Because we've seen it, we've heard it, you know, you put it in the comments.
Yeah, yeah. I think a part of me wishes it was me fighting Jasmine again, and maybe I'll get my hands on her eventually. But yeah, I think Erin, you know, I think Erin should have been fighting above the division, but they're trying to give Jasmine another chance to prove herself, which I get. But Jasmine spent 30 seconds with a girl that Erin spent 25 minutes with. I don't think it's even gonna be close to a fight. Jasmine has the only thing she's ever said that mattered in her career that was that, oh, like I've already beat her training partner. She said it since she's beat me. So for the past 2 years, she's had it in her head that she never had to fight Erin. And now she's given no choice but to fight her. And I think that's probably the biggest place she went wrong is underestimating Erin.
Right.
But I think that's exactly where Erin shines when she's underestimated. And, when people count her out, that's where she does better.
Mm-hmm.
I have full faith that Erin's going to be champion, that Erin's going to, steamroll through Jasmine. And
I
we're
agree
just going to, we're
100%.
going to
I'm
both
just
come out
throw
with
that out
wins.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. We're both going to come out with wins this summer. And I think, I think, yeah, this is more of a shot for Jasmine to prove herself than Erin. Erin has proved herself through and through. This
Yeah.
is this is just another chance to kind of solidify herself as the next one for the title. And I know Erin, we're good friends, and I don't think anybody stands a chance against her. And I know she feels the same about me.
Yeah, absolutely. I just, when I was going through the question, I was like, I've got to find this out because I can only imagine what's going through Jasmine's head. Like, oh, I beat Fatima. This is going to be a cakewalk. But like you said, I mean, Aaron's like, when she fought Jasmine's opponent, they were, like you said, 25 minutes. Like, and she thinks it's going to be easy, So,
Yeah. I think as a 15er, I was Jasmine's toughest fight I think she's ever had in her career. I really made her work for that win. And if I'm doing that as a 15er, I mean, oh my God, I'd be worried for her against, a 25er like Erin. I don't think she's ever faced somebody like her. Where Jasmine is best, Erin is an expert at. So
right.
I don't think it's even gonna be I don't think it's gonna be a fight.
um, yeah, a couple fun questions for you before we jump off of here. If I, bleh, sorry, will this be your first time in Oklahoma?
Yes.
Do you, I know fight week. I know obviously you're going to be caught up with media day and all the fun stuff. But I always like to ask fighters if there's anywhere you plan on going to visit while you're in the new state, with what you're looking forward to, whether it be the new fans or just the new state in general.
Yeah, I think I'm most excited for the fans. I feel like I had such a great experience when I went to Tennessee for the first time, and UFC wasn't in Tennessee for like 5 years, and yet the
Ah,
fans look like they've seen it 100 times. And so I'm super excited to be back to where UFC hasn't been in a while, and spark some interest in the fans, and gain some good hometown American people behind me. But I'm always just, I love traveling. I love fighting in the States. I love being able to represent my country, and the people that are in it. And yeah, I think I wanted to go see, I think the Gymnastics Hall of Fame is over there. And my little
okay.
sister is like a big into gymnastics. And I know Oklahoma University has like a pretty prestigious gymnastics team. So I kind of wanted to like see if I could check out the facility and things like that. Get some
Right.
motivation from these girls, jumping like 15 feet in the air doing backflips.
Yeah, look, my daughter's taking a real interest in gymnastics, and I just bought her a gymnastics bar, and she's 5, and I'm like, how are you doing this? Like, what? Like, teach me, show me,
Yes.
like. But then I'm like,
It's
never
crazy.
mind. I might be too old to be
It's
doing
a
all that.
skill.
No, it
Yeah.
really is. But I think the same thing
So
about fighters, like it's not just being able to punch someone in the face. You know what I mean? Like it takes so much time and training, just like any other sport. But I always feel like combat sports is the most intense, and I always have so much respect
yeah.
for fighters because everything y'all go through between the actual training, the weight cut, and just everything. It's just insane.
Yeah. We put it on ourselves. We're like, why do we do any of this? I don't know. We love it, you know what I mean? So
Um, what is the story behind your nickname?
oh, yeah, my an old coach of mine actually gave me that nickname. Archangel in the Bible means like a warrior or like a messenger of Christ. And so I feel like that wholeheartedly just symbolize exactly who I am.
I love that. I really love that.
Thank
Um,
you.
it's so like for someone who may not be religious like we are, or it might just seem so basic, but for someone who is religious and just can understand that, like it was such like literally
Mm.
like a 2-second explanation, but yet so deep at the same time, you know?
Oh, yay. I'm like, I can write an essay, but I might as well give you something short.
Last 2 questions for you. Looking back to your first fight as an amateur to your last fight as a pro, how has your mindset changed as you made your walk to the cage or octagon?
You know, I think I've just learned to really trust in my preparation, trust in my training, trust that God has a plan for me, and He knows whether I'm going to win or I'm going to lose, and it's my job just to prepare the right way and do everything that I need to do, and live the right way, and He'll sort everything out. But you know, I can't say it's even close to perfect. I get nerves the same way everybody expects me to. But I love what I do. I care about what I do. This is I'm at a place where when I was 10 years old, I was dreaming about being. And so you know, even with the cuts and the dieting and, you know, the stress and the nerves and the walk and the fans, I just I know that there's gonna be a day and time where, you know, my career is over and I want to make sure that I'm grateful for all the highs, all the lows and everything in between.
Absolutely. Last question for you. I always like to ask fighters who they like to shout out for this fight.
Oh, who I want to shout out? Oh, my family. My family has been we've all been going through the ringer. I had an opponent change. Everybody was like, "Are you fighting? Are you not fighting?" I feel like I put my family through so much with the career that I chose. But they have supported me through and through, and everybody will be coming with me to Oklahoma, and I couldn't picture a career without them. And yeah, you know, they're my foundation, they're my backbone, and I don't know what I would do without them.
That's awesome. And it's good to have that family support. See a lot of fighters who don't have it, and they go through it alone. And this is a sport. I mean, yes,
Yeah,
it's a self sport. It's you and one other person. It's not a team. But at the end of the day, between the training, the camp, and the weight cut, and just everything, like it takes literally a village. Like this is one sport. Like you don't have a team
absolutely.
inside the octagon, but you need one outside of it.
Absolutely. Yes, exactly what you said. It might just be me in the cage, but it is like a village worth of people backing me up and getting me there.
Um, I love that you have that, Fatima. I do appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. Y'all, Fatima Kline here is getting ready to step into the octagon once again, July 18th. UFC Oklahoma City against Tabitha Ricci. This fight, I'm super excited to watch. I'm excited to see you fight in person and meet and see you again. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time. I know this week and in the next are super insane and hectic and trying to get everything, but I look forward to seeing you again next week.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, you have a good one.
You too. Thanks.